second video. In my first video, I talked about how purchasing a single-family home in Seattle as an investment property may not be the best investment decision in the current rate environment when rates are hovering around 7%. And that's because your rental income is going to be quite a bit lower than your mortgage payment. So every month you have to put in, you're throwing money into the property. But I want to show an example of how in the right environment, right rate environment, a real estate investment could work out very well. And I'm going to use a personal example of a property I purchased in 2013. So I bought a townhouse in 2013, 3-bed, 2.5 bath for about $311,000. And I'm going to show a spreadsheet here. Show you guys the numbers. Okay. So in 2013, my townhouse was worth $311,000. I put I took out a loan for 80% of the home value, and my interest rate was 4.5%. So my down payment was $62,000. My mortgage payment back then was about $1,600, and I had rented 2 of the bedrooms out and lived in one of them. So my rental income was about $900, and I was paying about $700 a month to live in my own townhouse. Back then, I spent all my cash on the property, so my cash in hand was 0. In 2020, when COVID hit, in 7 years, my property had increased in value to about $580K. My loan balance has decreased since I've been paying it off for 7 years, but my interest rate was still 4.5%. My mortgage payment stayed fixed because it was a 30-year fixed loan. However, my rental income by that time, I had rented the whole house out, and rent had increased to about $2,000 a month. So I was cash flowing about $400 a month. Now, and my cash in hand is still 0. Now, if I had sold the property, I would have made a good chunk of change, but I would not have a property. And in 2021, I decided to do a cash out refinance on the property. And what that means is I would take on a bigger mortgage to pay off the previous mortgage at a lower interest rate because rate had dropped significantly in 2021 and during COVID. In 2021, my property was worth about $600K. I took on a bigger loan at a lower interest rate. But while my mortgage payment is $2,200, I was collecting rent at about $2,200, so my monthly cash flow was about break even. But since I took on a bigger mortgage, my cash in hand was about $180K. So now I have $180K in cash sitting in my bank accounts, and I had done a refinance. The beautiful thing about this is that you don't pay income tax on this. If I had sold the property, I would have had to pay income tax on the capital gains on the property. And this is how investors are using loans to fund additional properties without paying income tax. Now, with this $180K, I could purchase another property or do other investments with it. And that is kind of an example of how, in the right environment, you could use real estate to fund additional property purchases. And you may be thinking, well, if you keep refinancing, you'll never pay off the property. Well, if I'm trying to retire at around 60, 65, I still have 25 years to go. So right now I am in acquisition mode. I want to purchase more property, have the tenants pay off the property for me, and At some point, I'll stop acquiring and let those property appreciate and also build equity with the principal payments of the loan. Um, so this is just one method or um, kind of example of how I utilize my first real estate purchase to fund other real estate investments.